Have you ever wondered or maybe addressed the question of who are you when nobody's looking? I know that's a difficult question for us to confront ourselves with sometimes, but maybe sometimes we do need to take a look and think about who it really is that we are, right? Because nobody knows but us. As you can see from the opening pictures on what they call the thumbnail on this video, that I may not always be who you thought I was. Sometimes I'm somebody different, not just a man stands in front of the camera who used to be a preacher. Other things in my life also, and that's important for us to understand. Not everybody really knows who they are and has a problem coming to grips with that. A number of years ago, our little great niece Adina loved Chinese food, and her grandparents, being indulgent as we all are with our grandkids from time to time, took her to a Chinese restaurant. They were seated and they sat down and they got their menus, and all the workers, all the servers, waiters, everyone in the restaurant were Oriental. Well, little Adina sat there for a good while, and she finally looks at her grandparents and says, "Do you think they know we're not Chinese?" Only a child could ask a question like that, right? Well, I mean, it's obvious from those in our family that we do not have the physical characteristics of someone who is Chinese. Nothing wrong with that. It's just not who we are. Okay. So, how many of you really know, though, who you are? Have you really thought about that? What mask are you wearing to hide the real you, who you really are in some way? One of the many Star Trek shows, and I'm a avid Star Trek space sci-fi follower of any kind. We named our son Kirk. You want to guess why? Anyway, in one of the Star Trek shows, they had a character who was a shapeshifter, and that shapeshifter could change into anything, whether inanimate or animate, look like a person, look like a flower pot, whatever suited its needs at that time to blend in to its surroundings. And I wonder how many of us are shapeshifters in some way, form, shape of some kind. How many of us are worried about blending in to the point that we change ourselves? We're more worried about blending in than we are about being different. We're worried about being singled out, about being different from our friends and coworkers, whoever it may be. Well, let me ask you this. If you hide your real self, how can you ever have a relationship? How can you ever make friends? How can you change the world even? Okay, how can you really be happy with yourself if you're always hiding who you are? Think about your life, who you work with, okay, those you live with, those that you rub arms and elbows with from time to time, and ask yourself, do you think they really know who I am? Some of us are in different types of clubs, whether like me, a cowboy club or a Kiwanis club or Optimist club or maybe some church group or whatever it might be. Do they really know what's important to you? If not, why are you hiding it? Are you afraid, embarrassed, just don't want to be recognized for that? Whatever it is, what are you hiding? Are you hiding the real you? And of course, that carries over into our Christian life. If we claim to be Christians, are we secret Christians? Or do people really know that we believe in something that we're worth even defying the times or whatever it may be in our lives? The scripture clearly tells us that if we're Christians and we are changed, we are different from the world, and people will recognize who we are because of what we do, how we speak, how we act. So how are you acting? How are you speaking? What do people really know about you? Maybe it's time to take off the mask and be open in your life. Something to think about for this morning. And I ask you, if you would, again, to subscribe to my channel, if you would, please. Click that little thumbs up like button and leave me a comment. Let me know how you're coping with hiding things in your life. I'd like to know. You take care. Have a wonderful day.